My goodness, they actually did it. They actually made a Fantastic Four movie. Hey there, Cinephiles. Today I'm reviewing the Fantastic Four First Steps. This is the fourth go-around for Marvel's first family, and this is easily the best one. Right from the start, you get this wonderful style that honestly has me wondering, has there ever been a better first act in any MCU movie ever? From the score to the setup to the visuals to the characters and their dynamics, it just filled me with pure joy the entire time. I am just so excited to watch this again with the general public on opening night because it is electric, and I know the crowd is going to devour this movie just like Galactus devours planets. And speaking of the big bad villain, he's not a stupid planet this time. He's actually his massive and evil self, and I love it. I got to see this early in IMAX, and oh my goodness, the scale of this guy. It's amazing. Even though I do love the full glory and scale of him, I do wish we got a little bit more purple with his costuming, but his connection to the Silver Surfer in this movie is very well done. As a person who likes Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer, I wasn't really familiar with Shalal Bal, but I think this is a great introduction to her, and I am so excited to learn more about her because she does have a connection to Norrin Radd, who is the original male Silver Surfer too, by the way. Not saying that that connection is shown in here, I'm keeping this spoiler free, I'm just saying what I know from the comics. But anyways, as a first introduction to this version of Silver Surfer, what a wonderful introduction, because oh my goodness, the absolute aura and the wonderful just shots of her surfing on anything, whether it be in space or on Earth or wherever. It's so cool. Might as well stick with the characters and get into the Fantastic Four themselves, and they're named that for a reason. Starting with Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, who is surprisingly good in this. He's a bit different than you might have seen him before, who used to be this bad boy ladies man, but this is a really good take on him, and I am so glad we got this version of him in this movie. Vanessa Kirby as Susan Storm is straight up the heart of the entire film, and I just love her as the Invisible Woman. Her powers are really cool with the kind of rainbowy refractive lighting techniques, as well as just her as a character and person. I just grew so attached to her, and I really loved her in this. Moving on to Pedro Pascal here, he is pitch perfect as Reed Richards. He gave me exactly what I wanted and needed from this character, and many people may not like it or say he's too wooden or emotionless, but that's the character, and it fits so well not only in the context of the team in this film, but also in the context of the entire film of itself, and it plays into certain themes and certain character dynamics, and it works so well. I'm genuinely afraid he might not get the credit he deserves for playing this character the way he does, because I think so many people are tired of Pedro Pascal, but you gotta get over it. He's a good actor, and he does well in this. But of course, one of the goats of the entire film, it's Ebon as the Thing. I've grown to love the Thing more and more, so much so that he's honestly my favorite character in the Fantastic Four now. And all I've got to say is this is a wonderful portrayal of him here. Not only is the character design in this so amazing, which by the way, he's a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, and I think that's an interesting touch, but the character himself here and the portrayal of him, wonderful performance. You feel it through the CGI rocks. It's amazing. So shout out to the animators as well as Ebon himself. But overall, the writing of this character and just the execution on all ends is spectacular. If you see me with a Thing merch anytime soon, mind your business, because he is just so easily the best member of the team. Also, real quick, there are some shots of the Thing in here that are so incredibly lifelike. It would not surprise me if they were actually animatronics of some sort, but I don't think they are, but my goodness, it just seemed like I could actually touch him in some scenes. And in general too, the CGI actually is pretty good, especially for how multiple Marvel movies have been as of late. There were only a few moments in which the CG was a bit distracting, and it's not to say that this is the most visually stunning and beautiful film of all time, but for the context of the MCU, a lot of the visual effects were done very well. That combined with the style that this movie has, with a lot of retro futurism, I think it lends itself to looking like one of the best looking Marvel movies either in a long time or ever. And there are multiple shots in here that I do genuinely believe are beautiful, and that has to do with the shot composition, the use of blues throughout the entire film, and the set deck and the costume designs. A lot of it just feels so practical and there and real, and even when they aren't, at the very least, it looks nice. And this is one of the nicer looking superhero films in the past few years. Getting into the story a bit now, the jumping off point in this film is them being a team for 4 years, which, haha, 4 years, Fantastic Four, anyways. And I thought that jumping in point was just handled so very well because it's kind of in the middle of the action, but that also just leads to a very fun montage in the first act. You're kind of catching up with this highlight reel almost of the team, and I think that's so fun. And thankfully, most importantly, you do feel that instant connection between the team members so quick. You understand who they are and how they are to each other, and just their dynamics kind of continue to reveal themselves as the film goes on, but you feel like you can already understand that pretty early on, which is very nice. It really does end up feeling like a family and not just a team, and that's kind of the whole shtick of the Fantastic Four. I will say though, it's kind of unfortunate that we're already getting this big major team up movie with Avengers Doomsday coming out next year, because I just want a trilogy with this cast. Of the theatrically released Fantastic Four iterations, this is so easily the best one, and I just want my trilogy with these members, with these cast members, and just crew, and this director could so easily do a trilogy. I love the style of this. I love what they set up, and I am so sad that we might not get much more of these people outside of Doomsday and Secret Wars, because as we all know, or at least most of us know, Secret Wars is when they're gonna hit that reset button for the MCU, and I kind of wish I didn't know that, but it's kind of an impending doom thing, kind of like the Silver Surfer being the herald of, you know, the world ending, but this time it's the MCU, and we finally get a team that I actually want to see so many movies more from. I do love Thunderbolts, but this deserves its own trilogy, and with this reset happening so soon in the next couple of years, unfortunately we're just not going to get that. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we do get it, and hopefully we do, but it's just a little sad to think about because I do really enjoy this movie. And I do think there are multiple places to go because this is in its own universe, and I know there are so many iconic villains that this hasn't even touched yet, so you know, I just want more. Really, this movie sucked me in from the beginning and just never let me go, and that's because it has some wonderful themes of parenthood and family and even celebrity, and it has such great characters and chemistry, and it has such a style that you don't really see from many MCU movies. And from start to end, I just had a smile on my face. I felt like a kid again, and I was just filled with so much glee, and well, now I'm gonna get back into Fantastic Four because I was into them as a kid with the original 2005 and 2007 versions, and I now need to read their comics. And that's gonna happen again soon. I'm genuinely so happy with how this movie turned out, and I cannot believe that I'm going to do this, but I give the Fantastic Four First Steps a 4 out of 5 stars. This is a very strong 4, and at times watching the movie, I almost thought of giving it a 4.5. It's just that damn good. But before I go, I do gotta give one last shout out to the actual GOAT of the entire movie, and that's Herbie. That little robot has my heart forever, and every time he popped up, I did not want him to leave the screen. But also, yes, stay tuned for the mid and post-credit scenes. The mid-credit scene is definitely the one that people are going to be talking about a lot, as the post-credit scene is definitely the more fun one of the two. But alright, those are my thoughts on the Fantastic Four First Steps. Be sure to let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Also, let me know your favorite member of the entire team. Mine is so obviously the Thing, but hey, Bombastic Bagman is a close second. But alright, as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing. Be sure to stay tuned for Yeti Films content, and I'll write you later.